Hey everyone, it's Ree. So here is our next war recap. This was our win number 150 against Rebels United. We beat them 58 to 36. They didn't really give us too much of a run for our money. They only used 23 out of their 40 attacks. This is what they did to us. They didn't even hit in. All these 2 stars left, quite a few open stars. They didn't even hit this Town Hall 8, so it really wasn't much of a war on that side anyways. And then for us, we actually 3-starred our Town Hall 10, the first couple Town Hall 9s, and left this number 4 on the board and number 6 on the board, and everything else down was all 3-starred. So I will go ahead and get right into some of the attacks. The first one I'm going to show you, since we've been kind of waiting for a 3-star on a Town Hall 10, and I've been giving them a little bit of grief about it. So this is Bama taking on their number 1. It's not the most upgraded. Town Hall 10 does have the Inferno Towers right here, not in the best location since they're both right next to each other. So Bama started from the bottom with his kill squad, getting the golems in there and the wizards and then his heroes, and then just shooting right up the middle with his Valks and dropping the rage spell for them to go to. Use the freeze because it was nice and easy to be able to get both of the Infernos right there with the freeze, and then they're already done. There's a Hound in the CC, which the majority of, I think maybe all of them actually, that had a 30 spot CC had Hounds in them, which I don't see that all too often anymore. Me personally, I think it's just kind of a waste. It's a time sink. Sometimes, yeah, the pups can give you grief, but depending on what troops you're using, if the Hound doesn't break, it just follows you around and it's worthless. So as you can see, Bama just made pretty much quick work of that base as soon as he shot right up through the middle. He still has Golems up, Valks up, Wiz up, everything. So he got that 3-star no problem. Go back to the board here. So he also 3-starred number 2 because it was a drop 1, so he took on 1 and 2. And then Knit took on number 3. I'm going to show you this one because it's a Gola loon. And we know that I like Gola loons. So he's going to come right in from the bottom here to try to get this air defense and this air defense, and then obviously the queens right here and the CCs right here. So those were his goals, was to get those two done. So he opens it up and then uses a jump to be able to get to both of them. And again, you can see that it's just a Hound and the CC, which going against that king isn't even going to do anything. So he's already got the queen down and both the air defenses, and the Hound is not going to hurt loons or anything like that. So he goes ahead and starts his deployment here for the rest of his attack. Sending the Hounds into the first one. Took a little longer over here in this kind of corner just because it was a long way across for the loons to get. But they made it through that first air defense. Dropped his other one, and then that one's going to go down. So that Hound finally popped from the queen, and then she's taking care of the pups, but a couple of them made their way over. And then he had the poison he dropped on them right there. So the one thing that I have noticed for myself, and this is just kind of a little tip, is because of these beefier lava hounds that we have now, a lot of times what is happening is that if you take it in the CC, it's not popping. And Ned actually had 2 hounds that didn't pop, and he could have really used it because he was pretty short on time here. So one thing that I would say is I would try to use your Clan Castle Hound first, just because it's a bigger tanker, it's going to be taking more of the damage, and then that way you kind of ensure that it pops for you, because it's just a lot slower going. You can see him speed it up full time here when you got two hounds trying to do your cleanup, as opposed to I don't all the pups that would have been instead. But you can't make them pop. You know, sometimes you don't want them to, so it can go either way. But that's just my suggestion, or what I'm going to try to do in the future when I do go La Lune, is to send the Clan Castle Hound in first. So the next one that I am going to show is down here a little bit. I did 3-star that, but it wasn't a great one. Is this one right here. So we're moving on to some Town Hall 8 stuff. So I hadn't showed MHS yet, featured him, so I thought I would show one of his attacks here. So he used a hound to lure out the CC, and at the same time dropped some quakes to open it up. This guy had, now this was a cleanup attack, so he knew that there was a Tesla in the corner, so that's why he dropped the golem over there, and then sending them in with the wizards behind them to take care of their clan castle troops. So you could tell he was sending in a couple Valks at first to see where they went, and he kind of had some go off and troll, but then his CC Valks went in. Now, sometimes it's not necessarily a bad thing if a couple Valks start to creep around the outside instead and just go ahead and work on the cleanup. And he did just fine in here. His hogs started going in. He was able to drop that heal right there, and they walked out of it real fast, but the Valks were able to get some value from the heal and the hogs, and then he's just working in a counterclockwise manner with his hogs, and now the Valks and the hogs are almost kind of grouped up again. He's dropped his last spell there, but the defenses are pretty much all gone, except for the fact that this guy put all of his Teslas in a corner. So he had one at the start, one right there, and then the hogs are going up to get this one over here in the corner, while the rest of the troops are just doing the cleanup. But he had a lot left. His king was still up, Valks were still up, plenty of hogs there, golem was still up. So that was a nice 3-star by MHS. And so the next one, this is Weston's first hit on number 11, and he just did a go-ho. We don't see that quite as often anymore, so I wanted to show that it definitely can still be done, especially in Town Hall 8s. I don't really care for it too much in Town Hall 9 anymore, but that's just my own personal preference. So it was a nice, easy CC pull there, doing his standard funnel. I would have probably dropped some whiz a little faster, and that poison, I don't know what he was waiting on there, but the dragon got some good hits going before it finally got taken out. So that was the only thing I would have said about this one. Weston hasn't really mastered the surgical hog type deployment, which I can't really say that I have either, but he generally sends them just all in a group, which it definitely still works at Town Hall 8. You can then you know right where they're going. You can set your heal spells accordingly, which you can see. I mean, he did it perfectly. I like to try to drop heal spells around the whiz towers. After this attack, he did say that he kind of forgot about the skeletons, and so then he finally dropped the poison, and so that's something that he's going to be working on. But I know when you're kind of going and doing other things, you forget that there is the skeletons beating on the hogs, and oh, I have another poison I could drop on them. So that's just something as you're getting more comfortable and paying more attention. It always feels like the attack's going much faster when you're the one doing it, or at least it does for me. So he still had plenty of hogs left in this. I think he took 20 and then 5 in his CC. They got a nice split, and so he was easily able to get the 3-star there on that one. So good job to Weston. So this next one, I have not featured Tater Salad yet either, so I wanted to show him doing a 3-star. Tater also is doing a Go-Ho. It's a little modified. He takes P.E.K.K.A as well, which is something a couple of our clanmates here do. Seems to work for them. I can't really say too much. I've never been a real big P.E.K.K.A fan myself. But if you can get them to funnel, I mean, they can do a lot of work for you. So he creates a nice wide funnel there with his 2 golems and the wizards to clean up the trash buildings on the outside. And then he just kind of sprinkles in some wallies to try to open all those sections up there. And now he can drop his king, which will go right in, and then he's going to drop that P.E.K.K.A as well, which will end up going right in instead of trolling around the outside of the base. The only thing for him I probably would have done differently is I like to keep a couple wizards on the back end just so you can see where they should go to clean up. That's just hindsight though. He sent all his hogs in. There's a great heal spell placement right there. He's just gonna overlap them basically and drop another one right away just as they're moving across the base there. And as soon as they take care of those defenses, he actually didn't even need to drop that one. But no, some people are like, you got it, they want to use it, and others of us like to try to swag. It can go back and forth because nothing ruins your day than if you swag and then you hit a big bomb. So it's, sometimes it's like, well, do I want to be cocky or what? So he ended up being okay even with all those wizards because everything just kind of congregated down at the bottom. So he had no problem. He still had plenty of wizards up. His P.E.K.K.A was still up. His king was still up. And he got the 3-star there. So good job to Tater Salad. I think that may have been the last one that I wanted to show you. Oh, nope. I lied. I got another one. So this was C3's fresh hit. He's going to laugh that I showed this one because he actually was having problems while he was attacking and the buttons weren't working. But I wanted to show this one because C3 has been trying out this new attack where he actually does a bowler walk at Town Hall 8. So it's definitely something to watch, kind of interesting. We don't have that many Town Hall 10, so it's hard sometimes to get bowlers in our CC, but it's something he likes. So he just puts 3 healers on his bowlers and does his normal kind of kill squad thing there to get the CC. This one you'll see because he's going to heal the grass in a minute, and he just said that his buttons were not working for dropping troops, but I kind of laughed because he thought he did horrible and he still gets a 3-star. So I mean, I guess he would have just swagged that heal anyways. There's another spot up here though, which you'll see. So he gets that heal down okay. There's the heal in the grass. The bowlers are still doing some work around the edge there. This base had all these compartments and you knew that the bombs were on the outside. So the only thing that, he would have done differently, I'm sure, is that you don't normally rage your hogs, and I believe in this attack, but I could totally be wrong, that the rage is actually meant for the bowlers, but I think he was really frustrated because it wasn't doing what he wanted, and so he kind of just started turning into a mad clicker and was trying to just drop whatever he could. But regardless, still an interesting attack. Just wanted to show it to you, even though it might not have gone totally according to plan. But that's his version of a bowler walk with some hogs, and it's kind of like a go-ho with a bowler walk, basically. And just in case you're wondering, I'll leave that up just for a second so you can see the troops that he uses for it. So the rest of these, yeah. So that was the last attack that I wanted to show you. Just briefly, I'll start doing this. Try to do this every time so you can see what kind of 3 stars we're getting. So Bama and Knit, both 6-star wars. Tim had a Heartbreak 99%. You know, we love those. And also had a 97. I had my first attack, I did a Go La Loon, and it was horrible, which you know how that goes. And some of these other ones weren't the greatest here. Weston had a 6-star. Mike is no longer with us. C3, he also had a 99%. Then MHS, Turtle, Huck, all 6 stars. Snake, 6-star, and Pat, we've been sticking in the wars just for a filler sometimes, so that's why his attacks weren't used.